If you've been following my 10-part series on researching the men who served with my Civil War ancestor, welcome to Part 9. Howdy, welcome to Family History Fanatics. If you're new here, my name is Devin Noel Lee, and I love helping people find meaning and connection through their family trees. So let's not delay and let's get into today's topic. Today's video tackles the time-consuming challenge of sharing data between Ancestry, desktop software, and FamilySearch. Why is FamilySearch so time-consuming? The nature of FamilySearch family tree is a beast. Some users complain about FamilySearch's accuracy, and while I wish I had access to user statistics, here's what I know. If you have more than a few hundred people in your family tree, you probably won't relish the idea of spending 6 months validating the family tree on FamilySearch. FamilySearch does keep track of your contributions. I started using the latest version of FamilySearch family tree in 2012. It feels kind of outdated to say the latest, but if you knew about the new FamilySearch platform, which predates what we're using now, yeah, you understand. In 2012 alone, with 5 kids under 10, mind you, I managed to contribute 601 items, 391 sources, and 210 profiles. Not bad for a platform that opened to the public in 2013. Over the years, my contributions grew steadily until 2016. When they dipped. Any guesses why? Give yourself a gold star if you remember that I launched my YouTube channel in 2016 and started writing stories about my discoveries. My recent spike in contributions is thanks to my research on the Ohio 133rd Regiment. So what's the takeaway? Am I just bragging? Heck to the no! Contributing to FamilySearch takes serious time. For many, that time involves syncing research you've already done elsewhere rather than finding something new. And truthfully, which part is more fun? If you're an LDS Ancestry user, you're in luck. Ancestry offers a partial sync tool with FamilySearch. Here's what you can do. Add new people to Ancestry from FamilySearch. Update birth, marriage, death, and burial information, transfer sources between the two platforms. But there are limitations. You can't add new people to FamilySearch. You can only add new people from FamilySearch to Ancestry. You can't share extra facts, and this is the most frustrating part. You can't share extra facts like residence, military service, pension, or other events. You can't share those to Ancestry, and you can't share those to FamilySearch. You have to use a third-party platform if you're going to share that extra information with both platforms. While you can transfer sources, they don't stay linked to the events they are linked to on Ancestry because you can't transfer the events, so therefore you can't transfer the sources linked to those events that you want to have those sources linked to. Does that make sense? To streamline the process, if you have access to this tool, share data with FamilySearch while you're updating the Ancestry profiles. This can save you time when you later sync with RootsMagic. Regardless of whether you have access to the Ancestry FamilySearch sync tool, here's how to clean up and update FamilySearch using RootsMagic. FamilySearch asks for a reason every time you make a change. To avoid repetitive typing, I created a reason statement template in Notepad. Here are a few examples. You can find the full list of my reason statements template in the blog post, which will be linked in the description box. These statements relate to sources I attached to the FamilySearch profiles. Rank obtained during service in the Ohio 133rd Volunteer Infantry during the Civil War. This was when I updated on FamilySearch, something you can't do on Ancestry. I added the rank into the name field as a prefix. And so while it doesn't transfer over from FamilySearch to Ancestry and I can't use it there, when I upload the name field from RootsMagic to FamilySearch, I would often use this reason statement to help people know, why am I changing this person's name? Here are a few others that were handy. Evidence of residence during 1860, for when I was talking about the 1860 census record, which provided residence information. Evidence of residence during the Civil War, evidence of serving during the Civil War and residence during 1890. Can you guess what source that pertained to? The following relate to FamilySearch family tree cleanup tasks. So I typically didn't. The following reason statements relate to when I'm cleaning up the FamilySearch family tree, and it's not necessarily tied to a source. Redundant duplicate marriage event. Oh my gosh, there are so many duplicate marriage events on FamilySearch. It drives me nuts. Redundant duplicate name. When it's the same name over and over and over again, yeah, that's the reason statement I used. Notice these statements are very brief and generic, but they tell other users and remind me, if somebody asks me later, that I'm familiar with why I'm changing FamilySearch. It's tied to a source or it's a little bit of cleanup work. Now, I have a blog post on FamilyHistoryFanatics.com called Guiding Principles for Writing Reason Statements. It's from a few years back, and I still stand by those principles that I put in that post. However, this project and the fact that I was trying to add 6,000 sources to FamilySearch made it so that I wasn't as robust in my reason statements. However, if anybody has any question, they can come back to me using the FamilySearch platform and we can construct a better reason statement. With my cheat sheet ready, I used RootsMagic's compare tool to update FamilySearch profiles. Here's the process. First, I tackled the names. I updated incomplete names. So if there was a W.M. J. Townsend, I would update it to William James Townsend based on the research that I had. I would add ranks, except for private musician and wagoneer. I didn't really feel like that was a rank. Let me know in the comments if you think I should have added that to the prefix of the name in FamilySearch. Next, I updated vital information using RootsMagic for birth, death, and burial. I wrote a reason statement without the use of a cheat sheet for this one because I wanted to tie the changes to specific records, such as based on the pension application or based on the headstone application. With burial location, I leveraged RootsMagic to move the cemetery names to the place detail field. Once that was correct, I uploaded the place names on FamilySearch. This helps to create more standardization on FamilySearch while preserving the cemetery name and location. Additionally, once the source is linked to the fact, the cemetery name will pop up in most cases. The next step was to focus on this section called Other Information. This section drives the FamilySearch timelines, anchors your ancestor sources, and generally differentiates a well-researched profile from a poorly researched one. So we simply add a new event fact for military enlistment and discharge, pension, residence in 1890, residence in 1863. These are just some of the events that were typical in my Civil War research project. Adding this information is rather simple. You just click on Add to FamilySearch as a new event option in RootsMagic. Now, many profiles already list residence facts in the years 1850, 1860, or 1900. So if I had new information or more accurate information, I used the Replace in FamilySearch option, but I had to scroll through to find the correct match. RootsMagic doesn't find it very quickly or automatically, so you have to do a little bit of scrolling. Then I added a reason statement about the update and clicked OK. In this section, I frequently encountered duplicate events, especially marriage events or events that lacked sufficient details to be useful to other researchers. These errors often stem from users not being familiar with how to use the FamilySearch platform as they link sources to their ancestor profiles. And as a result, I wind up deleting random events, things that aren't tied to a date or tied to a source, and I provide a reason statement as to why I'm taking those things out. Now that I have added the events and I cleaned up the vital details, I want to tackle relationships. The first thing I wanted to do was make sure the wives are linked according to what I have discovered, especially since many of these names are coming from pension records. Invariably, I found duplicate profiles for the men and their relatives in the FamilySearch family tree. After careful review, I would merge the relevant profiles before moving on to the source cleanup. So once I had the wives there, if there were other relatives, such as I figured out that 2 men had the same father, I would go and make sure the father was in the tree so the 2 men could be connected. Sometime a minor is listed as a beneficiary of a pension, so I'd make sure the minor child is connected to the profile. Any other relatives that I have found in the research process, I ensured that they were connected in the FamilySearch family tree. After enhancing the profile in this fashion, I focused on hints provided by FamilySearch for anything related to the research project that I had missed before. Sometimes these were pension payment cards that showed up as I started putting more of the military information into the profile. Often it would be for a woman if she remarried. There was a collection on FamilySearch that talked about her being remarried. And so I would process some of those hints. I did not get distracted with any other hint that contributed to this person's identity and biographical information. Only things focused on them being part of the Civil War infantry, and then also some things related to pension information because that helps further my Civil War research. If I did find something new on FamilySearch, then I would add it to the FamilySearch profile using the source linker tools that FamilySearch offers. And then I would use RootsMagic to bring the information back to RootsMagic. And eventually then I can port that over to Ancestry if I don't have that LDS feature. And if you do have the LDS feature, then you would have to go back to Ancestry and pull that information over. This next task takes a lot of time, even if you have that FamilySearch Ancestry transfer tool. Source cleanup work will need to happen. For citations transferred from Ancestry, you will preserve the URL link and then update the citation box with the copy of your citation either from RootsMagic or your spreadsheet. This is if you want to have complete and accurate source citations in your profile to demonstrate you do have a handle on what you're doing when you're doing genealogy research. If this doesn't matter to you, you can actually skip this step, but if it does, that's what you would do. Now, in RootsMagic, there is a source compare tool, and I have to stress that you need to be careful using this. So I would recommend you look through the names, the titles of the sources in that source compare tool to see if does FamilySearch have the 1900 census and RootsMagic has the 1900 census, consider them compared. So there really isn't a very good automatic comparing of these sources. You just have to look at it one by one and go through it that way. If you do have something in RootsMagic that is not on FamilySearch or brought over from Ancestry, if you have access to that tool, then you would upload it from RootsMagic to FamilySearch. One thing to be aware of, if there is a source on your FamilySearch profile for your ancestor, and it is a record that's in a collection on FamilySearch, you cannot change the source citation information. Do ensure that FamilySearch has those sources linked correctly rather than import redundant citations from Ancestry or RootsMagic just to get the complete and accurate source citation. That is my recommendation to save you time and to prevent lots of headaches. I hope that explains the source cleanup process. If you have any questions or you think I might have missed something, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. After compiling the sources, complete the cleanup process as follows. This is when you're going to really step up your game at the FamilySearch profiles. FamilySearch doesn't always have a date for your source, and so you're going to put in a date to the date field to ensure that the sources will then sort consecutively and chronologically by year. Use the date for when the record was created. However, if the record is a death record and it's an extraction that came later, you might want to just consider using the fact that it's focused on the death and put the death year. And then in your source citation, you can talk about when the record was actually created, but then you're seeing in your source list about the time that the person died, you have a date for that death because this is a death record, so it's pertaining to the death. If that makes sense, let me know in the comments. This next part ties your sources to the events. There isn't a really easy way to do this using RootsMagic or the Ancestry FamilySearch tree tool. I wish it was. However, to tag or connect your sources to the event, often you can do it from the citation screen to create a link from an event to the records. However, I found that when I went to the details tab of the Ancestors profile and I would click on an event and it gives me the source tagging feature option, I found it was more intuitive to me to process and tag things that way, because then I could see a list of the sources for the event and I can tag every event that I remember had talked about that specific date. If I have any questions, I can go back to the source page and tag. From there, I would hit tag, and then there would be a number of the common things that people tag, but you can do additional tags, click on the other information, and that's when I would find a residence or a pension or something like that, and then I'd be able to tag the source to one event. But I really liked using the other way where I would go to the event and then tag the different sources. Either way will work. Do the one that is best for you. Once all the events were tagged with a source and I cleaned up everything and the sources were all up to date as far as I could make it, I finally reviewed the notes feature using RootsMagic. If there was a new note on FamilySearch that I didn't have in RootsMagic and it pertained to the Civil War research information, then I imported it. Otherwise, I left it on FamilySearch. If I had a new note to share, then I would share it from RootsMagic up to FamilySearch. So as I processed every profile in FamilySearch, I would go and highlight my spreadsheet with a color on the person's name and say, yep, this person has been updated to FamilySearch. Unlike Ancestry, not everyone in my spreadsheet is currently on FamilySearch. The reason is I don't have enough information about some of these men to know if their profiles are already in the family tree or not. And if they are not, I need to add a new profile. But if they are, I need to figure out who they are. But again, I don't have enough information and I don't want to contribute to the FamilySearch duplicate person problem. So that's why I highlighted my spreadsheet so I could say these people are in FamilySearch and these people currently are not. After months of updating Ancestry and FamilySearch, I'm finally ready to write about the men to provide social context to the story about my ancestor, William James Townsend. My goal is to hold a published book about William in my hands by Christmas 2025. After sticking with me through this research over my shoulder series, there are questions we should consider. Are tangents a bad thing? Which tools are right for group projects rather than single family trees? What are the best ways to share your research with others related to members of that group? For these questions, I'm going to open the floor to you for you to share your thoughts. What have you learned? What do you want to contribute? In the next video, I'll share some of my final thoughts on this entire process, and I'm going to look for some of your contributions to this video and the previous videos, and then wrap this all up. So I look forward to seeing you in the final installment of the Ohio 133rd Research Over My Shoulder series. In this segment of viewer comments, I have to laugh because the debate continues on how to say the word that we spell Genealogy. So PhD to be says, and spells it phonetically, genealogy. Genealogy. Thanks for sharing, and I'm going to agree to disagree. Genealogy is the way I've heard it throughout my entire life. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Keep the comments coming on all of the videos. You guys are the best. Go check out this valuable research tip right up here.